I think I can help. I think I can help Xabi Alonso. At least I can help contextualize the situation Xabi Alonso has found himself in. Because even though it is clear Xabi Alonso is an unbelievable manager, he has run into the unmanageable problem that is Real Madrid. And it's not a problem, right? Real Madrid, even though they've drawn a couple of matches in a row, they're still in the running, obviously, for a Champions League title, as they are every time. I mean, they're kind of the team that they're in the running until they are knocked out. And they're basically top of the league. They're running right next to Barcelona at the top of La Liga. So what is the issue? The issue is that there seems to be a swell of discontent. You see these sorts of posts going around. Multiple Real Madrid players now on Xabi Alonso fired. You've got multiple articles published by The Athletic talking about discontent in the ranks at Real Madrid. Now, my initial reaction to this is obviously that there are some players on Real Madrid that are just pampered. They're not used to being actually coached, and Xabi Alonso is somebody that's coming in here trying to actually coach the team, right? But the reality is that the job of managing Real Madrid is different than the job of managing any other club in the world. And I mean that. I absolutely mean that, right? I try to be very objective about who's the biggest club in the world, who does this, who does that, who's the best club right now when it comes to being able to win things or not. And that is always up in the air. But the way Real Madrid has constructed itself, the brand, the Galacticos idea, Florentino Perez existing as this sort of black hole of power at the top of the entire structure, creates a different team. And while I want to come into this video and say, well, the players are all completely in the wrong, right? And Xabi Alonso is this great manager and they should listen to this great manager. I think that coaching Real Madrid is actually similar to something in the American sphere. And that is coaching in the NBA. I think managing Real Madrid is like being an NBA coach. And the reason is because even at a place like Manchester City, even at a place like Manchester United, where things were not going well for a long time, but Ruben Amorim honestly seems to be turning things around just a little bit, right? In any place that you can imagine that you're going to, even at a place like Barcelona, where it's Xavi or Hansi Flick or whatever, and there are other people that are going to have input on who's playing and who's on that team and whatever, the manager has more power than they have at Real Madrid. The manager at Real Madrid has less power than any other major club in Europe that I can think of. They are there as a diplomat. The manager of Real Madrid is a diplomat and has to be able to use a combination of respect and guile, gravitas and persuasion to get the team to do what he wants them to do. This is something obviously Carlo Ancelotti was able to do with his gravitas, his general prestige, his influence, his cool demeanor. He was able to, as a diplomat in the role of manager of Real Madrid, get the team pointed in the right direction. But the other reason that it's the same as coaching in the NBA is you need some players on your side, or else you're not going to be able to accomplish anything. You cannot walk into Real Madrid and start smashing skulls, rip the team apart, put the team back. You can't Ange Postecoglou or Sean Dyche your way into just molding this team, striking it with a hammer and an anvil and shaping it into what you want it to be. Mikel Arteta, Pep Guardiola. You can't walk in and build that. It doesn't work here. You're walking into a dressing room full of people making multiples more than you are, with hundreds of millions of followers. And it's not just one guy. It's like 8 guys. Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., and Jude Bellingham are all in the top 10 for the highest paid footballers in the entire world. And that is just where we're talking like salaries on the field. If you're talking influence, you're looking at Brazil's number 1, you're looking at England's number 1, and you're looking at France's number 1. And when I say number 1, I just mean probably the most important player on that national team. Not probably, for at least 2 of those guys. Right? I mean, guys that are generational. Guys that you can't look away from. And you've got players like Endrick, the chosen one, on the bench. I mean, you think about he's not even playing. You think about the amount of influence, the amount of just coverage and sponsorships and everything that some guy like Endrick is getting. He doesn't even fit in the team. He doesn't even fit in the team. I mean, there are players that are the best players of their entire country, huge countries with tons of money and influence, like Turkey, that they're not getting a ton of time. Like Arda Güler is one of the most famous people in Turkey, right? Not just athlete, like people in Turkey. And he is not, a line leading player at Real Madrid. Okay, it is unbelievable the amount of influence and just power and moving and shaking ability that the players at Real Madrid have. So when you step in as a manager, you have to negotiate. You have to feel your way, sometimes even in the dark, to getting things to work. And what one of these articles in The Athletic pointed out as I was reading, because I wanted to understand, right? I know Xabi Alonso is an unbelievable coach. He wanted to go to Real Madrid. And to be perfectly honest, everything from his jawline to his career to his retirement message to his stint at Bayer Leverkusen, like everything Xabi Alonso does is perfect. So, I mean, how could he not be having a perfect time at Real Madrid? This is a guy that's got it figured out. And to be honest, a guy that should be able to command the dressing room, even at a place like Real Madrid. His reputation, his honor, his gravitas. That's just the perfect word for what I'm trying to describe. It matches Real Madrid, right? This is a guy that played for Spain. He played for some of the biggest clubs in the world, not to mention he was, the greatest manager wonder kid that we've seen in a long time. I mean, he engineered the first unbeaten season in German league history to unseat Bayern Munich's decade-long run at the top of the league. It's unbelievable what he did. And he should have walked right in here and been able to control it. But, like this article was pointing out, there's something Real Madrid is missing now that it had in the past. There is something that Real Madrid is missing now that it had in the past. Big personalities such as Sergio Ramos, Luka Modric, and Toni Kroos previously helped to bind the group together, helping the coach to keep out even outsized personalities like Ronaldo focused on collective success. Multiple sources said the current squad does not have enough leaders who positively influence the team. They also mentioned any discussion of ego, power, and control at Real Madrid must include the big boss, Florentino Perez. But this is exactly how the NBA works. Exactly. Like to a T. If you were a coach in the NBA and you want to be successful, you've got to get your stars on side. They're going to line up the whole rest of the team. But you need your stars on side. If you don't have your stars on side, they've got the influence to get you fired. If LeBron James doesn't want you to be the head coach of his team, guess what, Buster? You're not going to be the head coach of that team. Because in the NBA, there are a couple of players that get max contracts on each team. And you need those max contract players to ride with you. If those max contract players do not want to play with you, you are not going to coach the team. And I don't know why I never thought about the metaphor before, but Real Madrid is obviously the same way. And Xabi Alonso's in danger because he isn't getting along with the guys he needs to get along with. And that's a difficult position to be in as a coach because it might very well be Xabi Alonso's belief that in order to get better results, he needs to not play Vinicius as much or move Vinicius and Mbappe and move these guys around. And the issue and the tension is that these three guys seem to be magnets that are pushing each other away. They don't attract. Like the Bellingham, Mbappe, and Vinicius are all just very different people. They don't necessarily get along like a Toni Kroos and a Luka Modric and a Sergio Ramos. They aren't able to create those poles of power that just put everybody in line like a magnet when it's working right. But these are those magnets that you try to push together as a little kid and they just fly away. That's what it seems like is going on in there. And Xabi Alonso's, I don't think any coach would be able to fix that if those three players are not going to be working together or not at least going to be capable of getting along and trying to push in the same direction for success with the team. But Xabi Alonso might be caught between a rock and a hard place here, right? I mean, you got the large Real Madrid fan accounts. This is a great app here where I can't pause this video, so that's really fun. Let me try to refresh, maybe. Thank you. Xabi Alonso let this slide. That was the day he lost his authority, his aura. They're talking about when Vinny Jr. was like storming off of the field But this sort of noise is not good because this is definitely coming from the large camps that all of these teams have, or all these players have. They might as well be teams, right? But Vinny Jr., Mbappe, they've got huge marketing teams. They got 10, 20 people working for them doing social media, PR, right? They're calling, Real Madrid talks about this. They're calling the Real Madrid brass, talking about their players' role with the team. Florentino Perez always has the final call, and he is known to have a really sharp edge to that executioner's axe. But they're all angling and manipulating to get into the exact position that they want to get into. Add on to everything, Vinicius Jr.'s contract is up in 18 months. His contract is up at the end of the 2027 season, right? We are closing in on halfway through the 2026 season. This is dangerous territory. Real Madrid's mastered the art of stealing players from other clubs. They might have Vinicius Jr. stolen out from under their nose if they can't find something that is amenable to him. And having Xabi Alonso as the coach apparently is a problem there because they don't get along. Xabi Alonso has stumbled into the one job in the world of football where he is not the main center of power. He's just not. It's not even just the owner, it's the players. And he's in an NBA job. And the way to win in an NBA job is to hope that Florentino Perez is making the right decisions when it comes to personnel and being able to navigate and soothe the minds on this team. But the lack of steady veteran hands that can command the attention of that locker room might make this job impossible. At least until these guys figure out how to get along, or they figure out whatever combination of players is going to be able to get along. Because the more I think about it, the more impossible it seems to be able to do this job right.